When you find out there's a sequel to a movie that just doesn't need a sequel, you go like this to yourself, oh, why are they doing that? But after you see it, then you're like, oh, I understand now. Well, that's 28 weeks later. Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. In the lead up to 28 years later coming this June, I'm going to be talking about 28 days later, which I already have. But now I'm going to be talking about 28 weeks later. It's a sequel that has absolutely no right to be this good, and yet somehow it was. While most sequels collapse under the weight of their predecessors, 28 weeks later charges in with bloody confidence. It evolves the world established by 28 days later while introducing a sharper, more unrelenting perspective on horror, humanity and survival. Sometimes when you see a sequel to a British film that they tried to Americanise, it falls flat in its face, but a film like 28 weeks later is how you do it perfectly. This is set, as the title suggests, 28 weeks after the original outbreak. The film picks up in a supposedly safe zone in post-apocalyptic London. NATO and the American military forces have intervened to secure and rebuild the capital city. The rage virus is being contained, or so they believe. We have Robert Carlyle's character Don, a man who's scarred by loss, trying to piece together his life with his children, who return to London after the supposed restoration of order. But as you can guess, things spiral quickly out of control. A visit to the Forbidden Zone, an unexpected survivor, and a chilling twist involving immunity unleashes chaos once more. The infection isn't just back, it's angrier, it's faster, and it's more horrifying than ever. Robert Carlyle absolutely steals the opening of this movie. The first 10 minutes alone is pure cinematic anxiety. The tension in that farmhouse scene is palpable. It's one of the most terrifying and emotionally punishing openings in horror cinema. There's no cheap jump scares, just dread, consequence and the terrifying instinct of self-preservation. Don isn't your typical hero. In fact, he's more of a morally ambiguous survivor, and Carlyle leans into that beautifully. His decisions, both cowardly and human, ripple through the story in devastating ways. His children, Andy and Tammy, bring a sense of hope and emotional grounding. They're not just plot devices, they give us somebody to root for when the adults lose their grip. Also, I appreciate how the film peeled back layers of the virus itself. We learn more about immunity, carriers, and how the infection might not just be a physical disease, but a mirror held up to humanity's worst impulses. Stylistically, 28 weeks later makes its biggest leap. Compared to the raw video grain of the original, this sequel is far more polished, bigger budget with a wider scope, but it doesn't sacrifice the grime and the hopelessness that made the first film so memorable. The aesthetic still feels scorched and desolate, like London itself is trying to forget what happened. And yet the American influence is unmistakable, not just in the military presence, but in the pacing, the scale and the cinematography. The camera moves faster, the action is tighter, and the horror is often more visceral. But here's the thing guys, it works. There are moments in the film that don't just unsettle, they devastate. The scene in the underground tunnel, the firebombing of London, and the sniper dilemma. It's not just horror for the sake of the shock, it's about showing how fragile control is when symptoms of power collide with chaos. And then there's the evolution of the infected. They're not just mindless zombies anymore, there's adaptation, a sense of instinct. They feel less like a horde and more like a storm, fast, merciless and uncontainable. Also, big respect to the soundtrack, the now iconic score, a crescendo of strings over silence. It elevates the despair to something strangely beautiful. For a sequel that had everything stacked against it because of how amazing the original 28 Days Later was, I think 28 Weeks Later holds up. It's bleak, it's beautiful and it's emotionally complex. It expands the world without diluting its essence, and it dares to explore not just what the virus does to people, but what people do to each other when the rules collapse. And yeah, while it's more American in style, that doesn't make it shallow. In fact, it allows the film to tackle global themes, intervention, trust, military overreach and the illusion of control. This is a horror film that leaves a mark, not just through the gore or the violence, but through the uncomfortable questions it raises. So if you've written off 28 Weeks Later as just a cash grab sequel, I urge you, give it another look. It might just surprise you. Anyway guys, if you've seen this movie, leave your comments and opinions down below. Let me know how you think it holds up today and how it compares to the original movie. And as always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!